show on this Riverside Radio. I'm your host for the evening, Jermaine. Alongside me today we have Tyrone, we have Matthew, and we have Jason. We're going to get straight to it. Massive headlines recently in boxing to come out. Andy Joshua's come out recently and called the former undisputed heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis a clown. I'm going to start off with this. Matthew, your thoughts on this?
I think you've got to look at it from both sides. I think, okay, yeah, I agree. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Lennox is a legend, like absolute legend. But I think you've got to see it as if someone's coming for your trade, something that brings you ends meet, that feeds your family, you're gonna take anything they say personally. You're gonna take it to the heart. So I kind of see it on. I understand Anthony's approach and his kind of side to it. He's putting it as he's not gonna back down, and I think he's in fight mode. He's ready for Andy, so I think he's good. He's ready to go. So anyone that's coming at him, I reckon he's ready to go. The same thing with Dillian. When him and Dillian had the back and forward, he's ended the nice guy. I think. I don't think he's playing the nice guy role anymore, and I think we're gonna see the real Anthony Joshua now.
Okay. Don't you think he's shown a bit of disrespect to Lennox Lewis? Obviously coming out and calling him a clown. Obviously, I watched a video today surfacing of Spencer Tyrone coming out and showing a video of him talking to Lennox and saying basically, if Lennox was a clown, then why would Muhammad Ali's family let him be the pallbearer of his coffin in his funeral a few years ago? Like, don't you find this very disrespectful? Obviously, like, the thing with Lennox Lewis, he's not really come out and said anything too much about his skills. He's probably just said he maybe needs a change of options in terms of a new trainer. Like, don't you think it's disrespectful that he's come out and said immediately he started calling him a clown? He didn't really hear the woman out, which he's basically explaining.
I feel like Anthony feels like he doesn't get enough support, and I think that's what it is. I think he sees it as, come on, you're on the home side, you're from my side, you should be supporting me regardless, and I feel like he doesn't feel the support, even though I feel like in Lennox's side he is trying to support him, just in a way that obviously Anthony doesn't understand. It's a shame, because when you think about the way that Lennox used to fight, using the jab very long, that would work well with Anthony. Could you imagine if he used that against Ruiz?
Yeah.
Dominate, absolute dominate. I think that was some of his downfall, that he didn't use them kind of tactics, you know? You have to admit though, it is disrespectful, but you have to see both sides, I still believe. You have to look at both sides.
Okay. Tyrone, your thoughts on it? I want to hear your opinion.
I think it's very disrespectful. Like, there's other words he could have used other than clown. Clown's very a dominant word in a disrespectful way. I think from what Lennox was saying when he was on bells and whistles or speaking from the phone, he wanted to help Anthony Joshua. So if someone saying that they're willing to help you, it's a bit weird and a bit strange how you can just disrespect them like that. Maybe there's something that we don't know that's happened behind the scenes, but for me it was a bit weird. Maybe he hasn't seen the Bells and Whistles show. Maybe Anthony Joshua hasn't seen the Bells and Whistles show where Lennox actually said that he would be willing to help him and offer support and guidance for his upcoming fight. So maybe that's something he needs to watch, and maybe his tone and his opinion of Lennox might change after that. But yeah, I find it just a bit odd. Maybe, like I said, there must be something going on in the background that the public don't know about, because it's a bit weird. I've never seen Anthony Joshua really say this about anyone. So it's a bit weird. So that's my two takes on it.
Yeah, Matthew, I want to ask you, obviously he's come out and said that. Do you think these two can work together? Obviously Spencer Tyrone came out and said that basically a couple of years ago, before Joshua fought in the Olympics, that he went over to Jamaica and he was actually training with Lennox Lewis, getting tips. And obviously that he came back to England and that's when they lost contact. Lennox went with PBC, and then obviously AJ went with Matchroomboxing. So do you think these guys can work together in the future, or do you think the beef is going to be long continuing?
I think we're starting to see some of Anthony's, the real Anthony Joshua, and I think after that loss, he's quite sensitive. I feel like he's showing it a lot, which is I think it's good to see because you're seeing the real person. You're not seeing the person behind the facade that they made to be the solid guy that nothing phases him, which is impossible. He's human. So I think it's his reaction, and you can't go at someone's reaction. It's I personally think that I think it would be really good if they worked together in the future, but I don't know if I can see it. I feel like Anthony's one of them people that kind of holds grudges. So I don't know if I can see that in the future if them two working together. But I think if they did, it would be a brilliant team. I think it would be a brilliant team, and I think Anthony would be a strong force. I think it'd be very hard to beat him with Lewis's technique, with him staying behind the jab long. I think it'd be very hard for any fighter to beat Anthony that way. I wasn't the biggest fan of Anthony Joshua, but if he was to fight in that way of fashion, I think it would take everyone. I think all the fans would go back to him 100%. And I feel like he's lost a lot because of obviously these remarks and because of the belts being gone as well by an opponent that nobody expected to take the belts.
Yeah, I fully agree with you there. But to be honest, I've lost a bit of respect for the guy for this. Like I said, there's ways you can deal with this stuff. Come out in public and say that is a lack of respect, it's disrespect. I'm sure he's got Lennox's number. If he could have came out and said to him, if that's Lennox's opinion, fair enough, but I don't agree with that opinion. But to come out and call him a clown on TV is very disrespectful. Considering the man's just trying to help you in another way. I don't know what, like I said, like Tyrone said, we don't know what's gone behind the closed scenes, but for me, you've got to be the bigger man and just be like, okay, cool, that's his opinion, fair enough, I'll take it on the chin. But to come out and say that is bad, and he's lost a lot of fans for that, I think, because a lot of people love Lennox, including myself, and I think he paved the way for Anthony Joshua, and he paved the way for a lot of the British heavyweights fighting now. And I'm sure Anthony Joshua looked up to him, especially when he's fighting the Olympics. I'm sure he looked up to him and had him as a role model. So to say that you don't respect the man as well, I don't buy that. I really don't buy that. Like I said, there's a lot of people in the game who achieve more than probably Anthony Joshua and Lennox Lewis, and they still got respect for Lennox Lewis. So yeah, for Joshua to come out and say that, he's lost a lot of my respect, and I've probably lost a lot of respect from fans. For me now, he has to go and win that rematch now. Comments like that, you have to go out there and think, because you're talking about a guy who's done it 2 times, gone to America and won 2 times to get his belt back. So for him to come and say that about him, you have to go out there and do the business. Simple as that. If you lose to Ruiz now, for me, it goes downhill for me. It goes downhill. You'll be fighting on poor cards.
But don't you find it odd that Lennox makes more remarks about Anthony Joshua than, say, Dillian Whyte, Chisora? We can go on.
Yeah.
Is that because it's more advertised? Because he's the heavyweight champion, was, I should say, the heavyweight champion of the world?
Well, when Spencer was speaking, he was saying that Lennox and Joshua actually spoke, and they used to hang out or speak at least. So I think it's not uncommon for Lennox to actually speak about Joshua because he was once on speaking terms with him. So it would make sense him speaking about his friend, his colleague that he used to train with, or coach in terms of coming up in boxing and things like this. So I don't think there's any agenda in him speaking to or speaking about Joshua, as long as it's not in a negative way, more as a feedback way, in a sense. Like, you have to make sure that criticism is, what's the word? Is it positive criticism or something?
Constructive.
Yeah, that's it, constructive criticism. So as long as Lennox is doing that and Joshua understands it's constructive, but maybe he's taking it unconstructively and thinking it's just a diss, and he's trying to put him down and maybe get the spotlight and things like this. So I know a few people in boxing that say when you lose, that's when a lot of people want to talk about what you've done and all of this and have their own opinion on it. But when you're winning, that's when almost like their mouth's quiet and stuff like this. They're not supporting you. So it's like they more want to say something when you're down rather than when you're up. So I'm not too sure if Joshua's taking that type of light. But again, as Jermaine was saying, at the end of the day, even Spencer was saying, you got to respect your elders. At the end of the day, do you know what I mean?
You can't.
You get me? I know you got beaten, everyone got beaten when they were younger, do you know what I mean? To say, respect your elders and things, so. And I know Joshua's got a good, looks like he's got a good background, or good upbringing and things like this, so I know he knows to respect his elders. So I know he might be frustrated, but even if there is some sort of beef between them two, he still needs to have some sort of level of respect. You know, sometimes the best thing is to say nothing. Do you know what I mean? If you don't have nothing nice to say, you keep your mouth quiet.
It's
So
very hard though, especially when egos come into play. You know, you're a boxer. You were the heavyweight champion of the world, and now everybody's coming for you. Everybody's got something to say about the way that you fight.
But you know what? I said this before. I think this was before, just after the fight, about Joshua. I think he went to like the breakfast show in America or something like this.
Yeah.
And he was saying, "I'm the best." Basically, you basically saying, "I'm the best. You got to come to me. Like I determine how much I'm getting paid. I'm giving this guy a certain amount of millions." That's good for him. But do you know what I mean? It came off a bit boastfulness, like, and so when you do that, like, you have to be the best. You have to be Mayweather, basically. Do you know what I mean? You can't lose. And now he's lost. It's almost like his ego got a bit too much, like, and so it's almost like, I wouldn't say karma, because I don't think he's done too much wrong. But it's almost like sometimes you just need to remember to be humble. Do you know what I mean? I think this whole situation, even him speaking bad about him, he's forgot to be humble about the thing. Do you know what I mean? If you're humble about this, you don't be saying people's are clowns and all of this. You just let them be clowns without actually let them, you physically or verbally saying it. Do you know what I mean? People can see for themselves, hear what people say. So you don't actually need to point out a clown, because a clown will always reveal himself. If that makes sense. As long as you're humble and you stay humble, that's the way of life, man. That's how you live the good life, I would say. But I don't know. That's my 2 cents, isn't it? I feel like I'm like a church or something.
Guys, we're going to move on. Obviously, they had the rematch settled to be in Saudi Arabia on December the 7th. Andy, I don't know about it. Andy Ruiz came out recently on an Instagram live video and said that basically the fight is not going to take place in Saudi Arabia. It has, because he's not too sure he's going to have protection over there. He's also come out and said that he's a champion and that he should dictate where the fight should be, and the fight should be in America or Mexico. Guys, I'll start with you, Matthew. What do you think it is? Obviously, this fight being in Saudi Arabia, do you think it's the money thing?
I think Andy's probably figuring out why a lot of people didn't jump to Joshua's offer when he had it. I think he's figuring out why a lot of fighters didn't jump to Anthony's offer when he needed a step in. Dillian Whyte could have taken it, why didn't he? It's because of the contract. Nobody wanted that contract, nobody, but what you signed up for is what you got to go for. He signed it, so he's got to fight there. He's got no choice. From what I've seen online from Eddie Hearn, is he's signed, he's got to go, he's got to fight. It's either that or he's handing over the belts. Yeah. So, and I don't believe he's looking to do that without a fight. So I think it's going to be, I think it's more just Andy building more around his name, just getting more, just pushing his name out there more for people to see, really. I don't think there's nothing around it. It's like, it's the same with him wanting to change how much he was going to get paid. It's like, come on, this stuff is done ahead of time. Yeah. It's like, how can you now go back because you're the champion and change it? It's not like that, you know?
No, for me, as a champion, for me, he should get the big way he has to fight. Obviously, for me, Joshua obviously had a contract clause and said that obviously the rematch will be done. Basically, he'll be picking where the rematches and stuff like that. So he basically covered his back. Yeah. But for me, I still think as a champion, you should still dictate to maybe how much you're getting and where the fight should be taking place. I still feel that, in a way, Ruiz might be right and say that Andy Joshua is a bit scared to come to America, back to the scene of the crime, and win back his belts, just like a former champion Les Lewis did. I would like to see that from Andy Joshua, to show the sort of heart and I don't know, just the grit to go over there and rewrite the wrongs. Go over there and win a belt back in emphatic style. So for him not to go over there, I'm a bit disappointed by this fight taking place in Saudi Arabia, because I thought it would take place in America or Mexico. I think this fight is a money fight, because I watched fights recently, maybe like a year ago, George Groves v. Callum Smith.
Yeah.
That fight was in Saudi Arabia. I didn't enjoy it. You've seen a lot of empty seats in there. For me, you don't get real boxing fans go over there to watch the fights, so you kind of lose that spark. So I'd like to have seen a fight take the fight to take place in America or Mexico. But to be honest, that's where it is at the moment. That's where it is. They're going to look to make money. Eddie Hearn's going to always look to make money. So that's where, cash cow. So it takes place over there.
But don't you think it's too much of a disadvantage? Like Joshua fought over in America, and even Lennox was saying that Joshua he fights the best at home in England. So don't you think once you go outside of the UK, whether it is America or Saudi Arabia, it's a disadvantage to Joshua? So it's almost like you're cashing in your cash cow basically, because you're giving them a disadvantage.
No, and for me, that fight couldn't take place in England or even in Wales. It had to take place on a neutral ground. So for him to go over there, it's going to make more money. Either way, Ali Josh's going to make money wherever the fight takes place. But when you've got people from maybe Arabs saying, listen, I want the fight to take place here, we'll give you this much money, you're not going to say no. So you're going to send your fighter over there to fight in that sort of place. It's as simple as that.
But that could potentially destroy his career, and it's like getting a bigger sum of money, getting a big sum of money now, but later on you can't get any more money as much as you could have before. Because if you're at home and he wins, then you can then go into the next fight and demand more money or demand the type of same money.
That is the question.
But if you lose because you're in a disadvantaged area, and that's one of the key factors, then you no longer can demand 50 million. You're lucky if you get 10 million. Do you see what I mean? So
but how do you know they're not looking to cash out? How do you know they're not looking to cash out?
Yeah,
Because
true.
the question is, who can AJ fight next? No way can he fight Deontay Wilder. I would be scared for him.
yeah.
Tyson Fury, his boxing level's on a different level. Dillian Whyte would be a good fight, I think, but
saying this before, what you said is perfect, because you saying this because he lost to Ruiz, but before Ruiz, I heard people actually saying this before he lost.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if he would have walked over Ruiz, that would have sold the Deontay Wilder. Don't forget, this fight was meant to be a demonstration. It was meant to be the same execution that Deontay Wilder did to Dominic Brazil. It was meant to be a flatline. He was meant to destroy this person, to say, I'm in America and this is mine, you know? What that didn't happen. So how now can you sell the fight against the hardest hitting man on the planet, against AJ?
But
it's not going to work out.
What you just said is what I said to Jermaine about Dillian Whyte's last fight against, I forgot his name.
Oscar Rivas.
Oscar Rivas. Because he's not big in terms of the football, the boxing, like, how would you?
Boxing,
yeah. And so, all he's had is like, was it 100 amateur fights or something like this? Or
Andy Ruiz?
the guy that fighted Dillian.
He's had Oscar Rivas. He had a lot of amateur fights. He's fought.
But and he went all 12 rounds. For me, Dillian's supposed to destroy that guy. For me, he's supposed to destroy this guy. If he's supposed to be next up to fight, what's his name, Wilder, I'm expecting this guy to get knocked out straight away, like third, fourth round.
It's not.
That from a person that, like, I'm not always watched boxing, so I'm coming from a person just coming into boxing now, seeing some of the fights and stuff. So I don't know about the history, but from my understanding, Wilder, Joshua, Fury, those are the top fighters. Those are the like the skillful, most powerful fighters in the game. So, okay, now Dillian.
You've got
Dillian. But I'm seeing Wilder knockout guys in the first 3 rounds. I'm seeing Fury do that.
They're different type of guys. You don't look at Dominic Brazil's background and look at Ruiz's background. You can't compare the two. You know, like Brazil was a walking punching bag, for goodness sake. I think in
how many rounds did he go with Joshua?
Who?
In Brazil, was it
about 7 rounds?
Yes, it's 7 rounds.
Yeah.
So
young Joshua.
You can't say Brazil was a punch.
Yeah, but what was that fight like? Was that fight a good fight?
He's getting pounded on.
Yeah, he was getting pounded for a good 7 rounds. People were actually disgusted with AJ for not getting him out sooner. And this has been the biggest thing with AJ. People have wanted wanted AJ to show us why he should fight Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
His knockouts have never been as great, and it's always been like a catch-up. Him trying to do better, but it's never been. None of his fights have ended in a dramatic way as much as Deontay Wilder. Dominic Brazil, I thought that guy was dead the way he hit the floor. It was. I've never seen anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. It's absolutely mad. So I don't think it would be. I personally don't think Anthony Joshua would be comfortable even fighting a person like that.
We're going to move on anyway from Anthony Joshua and Ruiz and stuff like that. This week, obviously, Billy Joe Saunders has come out and signed for Matchroomboxing. Matthew, what do you take on that?
I find it odd, but then I think it might be. It's very weird that Frank couldn't get the fights that he wanted, because I think Frank's a really good promoter. I'm not saying that Eddie Hearn isn't, but I was really surprised. But I think Bill's got his head screwed on. He's a world-class fighter. He's one of my favourite middleweight fighters. I personally would love to see him fight Callum. I'd love to see him fight Canelo. I think he's one of Britain's best fighters, and I think people need to support him more. But it is a bit odd that he went to Eddie Hearn, but maybe that's easier access to him to get to Callum Smith. And him beating Callum Smith, when you beat a champion, you're taking all their legacies with you as well.
I think it's a fantastic deal for Billy Joe Saunders. Nando's not here, but me and him have spoken loads of times about Billy Joe Saunders. He's a terrific fighter, but maybe personal things has got in the way of his development. He's come out and done. He's a bit controversial. He comes out and does a little bit silly things, but the guy's class.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, we talk about Callum Smith, but for me, you can get the Canelo fight now. You can get the Triple G fight now. Yeah. You can get the Caleb Plant fights. You can get the Demetrius Andrade fights. There's big fights out there for me, and Eddie Hearn can provide it. Eddie Hearn's given guys who are not top fighters world titles. Rocky Fielding.
Perfect example, isn't it?
Even Andy Crawler. Andy Crawler's not a fantastic fighter, but he's given them a chance to become world champion. He gets you chances. He gives you opportunities, and this is why, for me, I don't think Billy Joe Saunders has always been a big fan of Eddie Hearn, but he knows this guy can take me to the next level. This guy can get me the fights where other promoters couldn't. Yeah. And this is why he's signed this deal, and I think he's going to grab it with both hands. I'm excited. I actually hope he can fight a Canelo or a Triple G.
See, I would rather him fight a Callum first, a Callum Smith. I would love to see that bout. That would be a really good British bout,
That could be a stadium fight.
I think that before Canelo, or even I think Triple G's out of the picture kind of now. Yeah. I think more Canelo, and I think Canelo and him would be a really good fight. Very interesting.
I think it's going to be more easy to make fights like Callum Smith and who was it there? Demetrius Andrade, because they both stand to the same stable, same promotion.
Which are all world-class.
Yeah, which are all world-class fighters. But obviously, I would like to see lots of Canelo come over here. Which can't see it happening.
Never.
It has to be in America.
Never.
But maybe on DAZN. In America, him going over there and fighting Canelo, even Mexico.
It'd be a big fight in either Mexico or
the States.
Yeah.
But for me, that's what I feel. That's what I thought Billy Joe Saunders deserves. This is what we're waiting for.
He does.
He probably looks at someone like Tyson Fury. Thought this guy's getting massive deals here, and he's going to be fighting in a massive fight next year against Deontay Wilder in the rematch. I want some of that, but for me, Frank Warren can't give me that, so I have to go and join Matchroom, and that's what he's done. Yeah. So fair play to him. I'm excited to find out who's going to be fighting next, and so I hope he gets the big fights, and I hope we as fans get to see the big fights.
So do I, because we've waited a long time.
Yeah,
we've waited a long time, and we've seen his skill. Look at how he fought David Lemieux.
Yeah,
world class.
Absolutely, he scored him.
World class. Yeah. It's like, come on, he was looking at his shots. Yeah. He made him look like a fool.
Yeah, he made him look like an amateur. Yeah.
And we always said David has power.
Yeah.
He lands. Wolf. He didn't land for 12 rounds.
Yeah. He danced around him.
He danced around him, and I feel like he's got so much better. I remember one of the first fights I seen was him against Chris Eubank, and I was actually supporting Chris Eubank. And he scored the hell out of Chris Eubank for the first couple of rounds, first 6 rounds I would say, and it was too much. Chris Eubank couldn't even come back. Yeah. Ever since then, it's just got better and better.
Yeah. I want to take a little break for a bit. and then when I come back and talk a bit more, British fights are going to be happening this year, which I'm excited about. Tyrone, Jason, going to move on, talk a bit more about boxing. Recently this week, a big British fight, domestic fight, they're called Bad Blood. It's going to be happening later on this year between Robbie Davis Jr. and Ritson. Matthew, what do you think about this fight? They've had a bit of beef recently. They had a fight, both had fights on Next Gen. They've come out and both called each other names, called each other out. Eddie Hearn's made this fight possible now. It's going to be happening in Newcastle later this year. What do you think?
The build-up's been good, but sometimes I feel the build-up's better than the fight, and I hope it's not the same with this one.
Yeah.
We had a good. I said the last fight that the build-up was really good was Daniel and Gordon, and it was quite a letdown for me personally on Gordon's side. I don't know. I just hope it's a good performance.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I hope. I hope it's a good performance. I hope it's not all talk and it's a really good performance.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's, obviously, they've been feuding for a while now. They've come out and said they basically want to have it out. And so this fight's going to be happening now. They both won their fights convincingly last time out. Yeah, I think it's good. They're going to be obviously in Newcastle, good arena. I think there's going to be a lot of fans going to watch it, and I think it's going to be a real tear up. And I'm looking forward to it. I want to see the winner maybe go from leaps and bounds and maybe get another shot at a European title as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm not going to say who I think is going to win, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm glad this fight's been made because obviously they've been beefing for a while. So yeah, so I hope this fight isn't bad like the Coley-Chamberlain fight, because that was a poor fight.
Yeah,
and I got excited for that fight.
Yeah,
So hopefully this does better than that fight. But we're going to move on again. We're going to talk about another big fight that's going to be coming up later on this year. Errol Spencer Jr. beat Sean Showtime Porter.
This is a big fight.
This is a fight I can't wait for.
This is a big fight. I am not the biggest fan of Sean Porter,
Yeah.
but I've got to give it to the guy. The guy's got heart.
Yeah.
He's got determination. But Errol Spence is just, for me, on a different level. Like, he's on a completely different level. I personally think that Sean Porter's going to walk into shots. The angles are just going to frustrate him. And if he does want to get physical, Errol's not a small guy. I think Errol will be able to hold his own within the ring. And I think Sean will probably be surprised that how physical, that him being physical will probably end up working against him. What do you think?
Wow, this is a fight I've been waiting for. I mean, obviously, I want to see that division get unified, because a lot of guys in that division, I'll be honest, some fights have been put off because of injury and stuff like that. So I'm glad this fight's happening. I'm glad it's a unification fight. I think the winner of this fight will maybe fight Pacquiao, and there'll probably be 3 belts online. I just can't see anything but Errol Spence win.
I can't.
The guy's just...
I can't. But you know what kind of upsets me is that, because I was a big fan of Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
I was very. I personally thought that Keith Thurman was going to beat Pacquiao.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been an amazing fight to see Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Just because of the way that they move.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a very good fight. I think, but obviously that is not going to happen now. But I think whoever goes on to fight Manny Pacquiao of the two, it's going to be a really good fight. I think either one of them. I personally think that Errol's going to win, but even if Sean is to win and go on to fight Manny Pacquiao, the amount of punches that Sean lets off, the amount of heart that this guy's got, win or lose, it's going to be a good bout.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I just think, for me, Errol Spencer's different level. I mean, you've seen the way he dismantled Kell Brook. You've seen the way he's dismantled people like Chris Algieri.
He's making guys give up.
Yeah, making guys give up. Obviously, it's a mismatch, but you've seen the way he destroyed Mikey Garcia.
Yeah.
The guy's...
Yeah.
He's a truth for real. They don't call him the truth for nothing. Like, for me, it's man down. He's laying people out.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, this is going to be a knockout. I really do see this being a knockout.
It will have to be to stop Sean, I think.
Sean just keeps coming forward, He's just like an energizer battery, honestly. He just keeps coming forward, and I can see him walking into punches as well. And he goes in with his head a lot. I think it's going to be stages in the fight. It's going to be quite scrappy, because The way Sean Porter fights, he goes in with his head, especially when they're clinching. There's a lot of head buttons and stuff like that. When he fought Andre Berto, there's a lot of clash of their heads, and that was a bit like a poor fight. Even when he fought Furman, that was a bit messy in stages. So even and Garcia, when he fought Danny Garcia, so but I just think Spencer's a more cleaner fighter, the more better fighter, more polished fighter, and I think he's gonna get him out there. I already think, if I had to say a round, 7th or 8th round stoppage, I think he's stopping in 7th or 8th. What do you think?
I think if he doesn't stop him within, I don't know. I believe that Errol Spence will win.
Yeah.
But there's something about Sean Porter. Sean Porter's got heart. You've got to give it to the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's got will. He's determined. So I wouldn't count him out. I will not count him out. I don't know if it will end in a knockout. I believe it could go 12 rounds.
Yeah.
It could go just because of Sean's determination. I think he could get dropped a few times within the bout, but I reckon regardless, he's still going to push for the 12 rounds.
Yeah, I think he'll keep going, but I just think the way he fights, I just think he's going to get stopped. He walks into a lot of shots. He comes forward a lot, and I think
He does.
even if Spence needs to, he uses his range, he uses a jab, and if he needs to fight inside, he's a fantastic body puncher as well. So yeah, he will throw punches to the body, and they are vicious. So I just see Spence winning here. I just see him really basically making a big claim in the division. I think he's going to be like putting a display where everyone's going to be like, wow, I really don't want that smoke.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I can't wait for that fight. It's going to be fantastic anyway. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching that fight. But we're going to move on again. Eddie Hearn's come out recently and said Dillian Whyte will be fighting again this year. Obviously, we're still not too clear about what's happened with the VADA testing and stuff like that. Obviously, Dillian's come out with a statement, but the fans don't really know what's going on. How do you feel about that? Do you want to see him fight again this year? Do you think can you see him fighting again this year?
A part of me is like tired of seeing Dillian fight for the belt. It's like, give him something already. But it's like, he's left us uncertain. It's like everybody was behind Dillian, and now, because of this rumour, and it's like, where did it come from? And if it's true, why is he going to be fighting? How can he have the opportunity to fight at the end of the year? It's just very confusing for fans. It's like nobody knows what's going on really, and on both sides, nobody's saying anything. So I think it is. I think if we find out that he did go down that route, I think it'd be very disappointing.
Yeah.
But if we find out it's not, I don't think Dillian should be fighting anymore. I don't think he should at all. I think he might need to, just to stay on point, to stay sharp, because if he has a long time out, how well is he going to fight against any of these champion fighters like Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury? I personally think Tyson Fury would be a bad fight for him. I think Deontay Wilder, part of me thinks that would be a good fight.
Yeah, for me, Deontay Wilder fight should happen next year for me, but like I said, we say that so many times now. How many days you have to wait? Like 60, 80 days, whatever it was.
Crazy.
And this fight still never happened. I'm tired of seeing them fighting guys who are not contenders for world titles or just outside the contendership for world titles. For me, I want to see him fighting big names. I think, like I said, if he doesn't get a shot at Wilder next year, then I would like to see him fight the winner of Ruiz, AJ. For me, he deserves a title shot. He definitely deserves a title shot. But hopefully he does fight this year, and hopefully we get to see him fight for a title this year.
What about Luis Ortiz? That would be a really good bout. That would
would.
test Dillian.
It would.
I think that would be a better fight for him before Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, it would, because obviously Ortiz.
Solid.
Yeah, he's solid. But I think Ortiz is an Asian man. I think if maybe White could get him out early, I think he could be, because I don't think later on the rounds Ortiz gets tired, he starts to fatigue. Same as White does sometimes, but I think the younger man, the fresher man, I think he'll get him out there a bit earlier. What do you think?
Yeah, I personally think that it would. I think White. I feel like he's got smart. He's more aware. He listens to his coach a hell of a lot more than what he used to listen to. You can tell within the fights they stick to game plans and they change up. And his head's screwed on. He's not just going out there like the last few performances that he's not just swinging punches crazy and coming off balance. He's doing sharp shots, straight down the center, jabs and straights. He's using his reach. I think he's really perfecting his craft. And yeah, no, I really would like to see him fight. I think he would dominate Ruiz if he used the same tactics that he used in his last performance. I think he would beat Ruiz if he used reach. He'd take him a full 12 rounds and just tire the old man out.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be a good fight, but for me, I think he shouldn't be fighting those sort of fights now. I think he should be getting guys with champions now. So I mean, if you don't have a belt, I don't think he should be fighting. But we're going to move on. Obviously, another thing was added to the card this month. Obviously, you've got Lomachenko who's fighting Luke Campbell, but Joshua Buatsi's going to be fighting on the undercard, and also world champion Charlie Edwards is going to be fighting on the undercard. What do you think of these fighters? Are you looking forward to see these guys fighting on the card?
Lomachenko, whenever you say that guy's name, I want to watch.
Yeah.
I want to watch. But you know who we want to see Lomachenko fight. There's only two guys out there that shine for me right now that need to fight Lomachenko, and that's Tank and Farmer. But first we need to see Tank and Farmer go at it, and then we need to see the Lomachenko. But apart, unless you're mentioning them three guys, I don't. Lomachenko walks over everyone. He's in his own class. There's nobody that can stand in the same ring as that man. The way he fights is like no other. That's all I can say. There's no other. Who was the fighter that we was talking about? That he had almost 50 fights, and he didn't have lost any. The Cuban fight.
Rigondeaux?
Okay, he dominated.
He made it quit.
It's embarrassing. Embarrassing. I mean, me and you were hyped for that fight. I thought it was going to be a big bout because both of their movement, their defense work was amazing. But Lomachenko just destroyed him, made him look like an amateur. You know, and
for me, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be there. Bells are also sport, obviously going to be there, me and Nando. So if anyone wants to come and have a little chat, interview, you're more than welcome to. But that fight, I can't wait for. There's another big fight as well happening. Before we go on a break, there's another fight happening next weekend. Kovalev beat Anthony Yard. What do you think of that? Can a man Lions and they can go over there and shock the world, or not even shock the world, go over there and take them belts and bring them back to the UK?
Listen, have you seen the size of that for me? You seen that guy? I'm on his side. That's all I know. He's a warrior. I said every bout we've seen that guy in, he's just destroying people. I haven't seen anyone even like give him a challenge yet. I want to see him fight harder opponents to see how good he is, because I don't think he's been tested yet, personally. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's not been tested. They say this is a hard test, but I think he's ready. I think he came more than capable of knocking him out. We've seen Kovalev being knocked out by Alvarez in his first fight, and he will obviously beat him in a rematch. But he's getting to that age now where there's flaws in his game now. He's getting a bit old now. So, yeah. And the fact that he's willing to go over to Russia, knowing that he can maybe get robbed or something like that, he's shown a lot of heart, he's shown a lot of guts. I think he knows he can go over there. This is his time. He knows he can go over there. He knows he can beat him. So I can't wait for this fight. I'm going to be tuning in. This is a fight I'm looking forward to. The fact that he's been offered a step aside money and still said no because he believes he can be world champion, you've got to give him a lot of respect for that. And yeah, this guy's going over there to take the belts back, and I believe he can do it. I believe he will do it. So I'm looking forward to that fight. But yeah, you're going to be tuning into that fight?
100%.
Yeah.
You know he's looking to take the belts, and I personally think he's going to win. You can tell the fighters that are serious about fighting, and I think just by the way they carry themselves, the way they look, you can tell who's living and breathing the sport non-stop. I look at someone even like Conor Benn. You know, you can just certain people that you can pick out, up and comers, and you can just see them and you know.
Yeah. I agree. I'm looking forward to that fight. We're going to take a little break and then we'll be back with some UFC. So looking forward to that. Welcome back to Bells and Whistles. I'm Jermaine. I'm alongside Tyrone and Matthew. Massive cards for UFC 241. Matthew, what fights are you looking forward to? I know you're a big UFC fan, so fill us in.
God, do you know what? This is such a big card. Daniel Cormier and Stipe is going to be one of the biggest fights, I think, for UFC. Because Daniel's already beat Stipe, I feel like a lot of people feel like Daniel's going to walk away with it, but I feel like Stipe is one of the best, was one of the best heavyweight champions in UFC. He's held the title 3 defenses, which has never been done before. The heavyweight division is so fickle, people went in and out in seconds, you know. He fought one of the most scariest heavyweights in the world, Francis Ngannou, I can't remember. Absolute beast, and he was able to walk away with the belt. So a part of me believes that he may take it off of Daniel. I think Daniel's a bit too confident, and he's ready to walk off for retirement as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's been talk about him with Tyrone. I think was he 40 the other day?
Yeah,
so he turned 40 the other day.
He won his SP.
Yeah, he won his, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this might be his last fight. Maybe looking to get another win and retire. Can't really blame him in a way. His record intact at that level.
Let me ask you a question. Could you see him fighting John Jones again?
If the money's right.
I don't see it.
Like you said, like me and you had a chat a couple of times now, and I know he's come out and said that he doesn't really want to fight him at heavyweight because that record might go in terms of him being undefeated at heavyweight. So it is a risk.
And what would it be worth Jones fighting him in light heavyweight? It wouldn't be worth it for Jones. Yeah. That's bullying, beating someone 3 times, you know? Coming to that last win, I was so convincing. The first one was, we definitely had to see them fight again. After the second one, it looks like Daniel's being bullied. So I think he has to stay in the heavyweight division personally and end on a good note. But I think Stipe may win. The only thing that upsets me about Stipe is that he's being a bit arrogant in that he's not understanding that he lost to a tactic that Daniel used. It wasn't just a fluke, it wasn't just luck. And he's taking it as it was just a lucky shot, when I believe it was tactics, that was planned. That was planned, same as the Jorge and Ben Askins fight. Planned tactics, put down to a T, you know? And I think it was all planned. And that's my worry for Stipe, that he left that last fight thinking it was all a fluke, that Daniel can't do that again and it's not going to happen again. And if it does, well, I don't know if he's going to fight again, because that, I think, will really damage him mentally, you know? Daniel, I think, win or lose this fight, Daniel's done a lot in the division to be respected. Not even in this division, in lightweight and in heavyweight. You got to think he dominated everyone apart from John Jones. Everyone. To be honest, his fight with Alex Augustusson was better than John Jones' fight. I see him. He used him like he was a rag doll. You know, the way that Daniel's thrown around even heavyweights is crazy. You know, you have to give that man his respect when he walks away from the cage, from the octagon. You have to give him his respect, you know?
No, I'm looking forward to this fight. It should be a really good fight. Obviously, other fights on the card that you're looking forward to.
God, we've got Nate Diaz. God, this guy, Nate Diaz and Pettis. Pettis is a really good, explosive fighter. He's got amazing kicks. We saw what he did to Wonderboy, what was absolutely crazy. I thought Wonderboy was going to walk all over her. That knockout, what was it, a Superman punch off the cage. It's like, come on. It's like, who does that? Who does that? You know? So, but the thing about Nate is, Nate's like a walking zombie. There's nothing you can throw at that guy that's going to keep him down to the ground. So I think it's going to be a very interesting fight. I think the only disadvantage is that I don't feel like Nate uses all of his skills. I feel like he could use his groundwork, but instead of that, he'd probably stand with him for the full, what is it? It's probably 3 rounds. Probably stand with him for a full 3 rounds, and just strike, which is crazy when he could use his ground and pound. He could submit him easily. Nate's had some amazing submissions on his list. So no, that's going to be an absolutely big fight. And then there's another fight that I'm really interested in, and we've been talking about this, the Romero and Costa. Costa is an undefeated UFC fighter. Whenever we say undefeated UFC fighter that's got, well, how many wins has Costa got? 12 wins.
12 wins, yeah.
Anyone that's got more than 10 wins in the UFC undefeated is a certified beast. Absolute beast. You cannot deny them. Because the UFC is so fickle. You get a win streak and then you lose, and then it's like, you know, it's very hard. UFC's not like boxing. You can't go on fighting. No, Dana White puts you in that pit, and you're gonna fight someone good no matter what. So I think that's gonna be a really good fight. That's it. 2 powerful fighters. Romero's super explosive. Like, we've seen what he's done to other fighters, like Luke Rockhold and Chris Weidman. Chris Weidman was the poster boy for UFC and he got destroyed. We caught his head in England. God, his head was split open by that flying knee. Never seen that before. You know?
That's crazy.
What he did to Luke Rockhold wasn't very surprising. We all know Luke hasn't got the strongest chin. Michael Bisbee made us aware of that. So we all know that already. So, boy, I think that's going to be an amazing fight. I don't know. I'm unsure who to pick will win. I personally want Costa to win because, come on, Romero's already had 2 attempts at the belt and he's lost against Robert Whittaker, even though they weren't the most amazing defeats, but it's still a loss. What do you think?
You know what? I don't know. I got a feeling it's going to be a shock, you know. I got a feeling that...
On whose side?
I think Romero's going to win.
Could do if Costa gets sloppy, I believe.
Yeah.
If he gets sloppy.
Like you said, you will see the sport where, like, yeah, you obviously if you go like 12 fights unbeaten, you are a beast. But I've seen so many shocks in this sport as well, where the guy who's on a crazy unbeaten run and just gets put to sleep with a brutal fashion. So it's a sport as well. Like it has a lot of shocks in it as well. So I don't know. I just got a feeling. I see a lot of things recently as well. A lot of in different combat sports where unbeaten records come to an end. So I don't know. I got a feeling this could be a shock, but
you are right.
We'll wait and see. This is what makes it intriguing that we don't know what's going to happen. So, but it's a fact I'm looking forward to as well, and I'm sure there's a lot of people going to be watching this, and a lot of people are looking forward to it as well. But another thing I want to ask you as well: what other fights are you looking forward to, maybe taking place this year or in the future?
In the future, well, I would love to. We've got to see Ferguson versus Khabib. Mm-hmm. That's a fight that has to happen.
To see.
It has to happen. I know they've tried to make it almost 3-4 times, and there's been Khabib with his weight. Ferguson had his injury, but we've got to make that fight because Ferguson is a beast and Khabib is an animal. Come on. Like, I think the majority of guys that I've seen come from Dagestan are absolute animals. These guys are trained on a completely different level. And Tony Ferguson trains himself. Like, that guy's just on a different level. I don't know. He's just on a different level. But I think that would be a really amazing fight. Another fight I would like to see, even though I said it would be bullying, is Daniel versus John Jones. But I would love to see it heavyweight. Have to be heavyweight. A part of me is getting bored of John Jones. A part of me is getting bored. His last performances against Silva, his last performance against Smith, they were boring. It was so boring. There was no excitement around it. Might be mainly because there was no animosity between the fighters. But boy, I think Daniel Cormier and Jones heavyweight, that would be one of the biggest fights ever. That would be one of the biggest fights ever. And another fight that I thought would be really interesting would be, which I thought was going to happen, which we keep hearing about, is Conor versus Jorge. Street Jesus. Wow. Street Jesus. I think that would be amazing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing as well, but I don't know. You
think Jorge's too big for him?
Yeah,
that's the question.
I think he could put him to sleep.
You think he could? You think it's only now that Jorge's become a fighter that he's putting people to sleep. Before it was more accumulation of punches that he used to use. It's more tactics. Now
it just shows you that he's improving with every fight. Like I've said this about even like people like Dillian Whyte and the other day last week, that people improving with each fight, and I think that's what he's doing. That's what makes him so dangerous. I think he's active as well. Where Conor McGregor, he's inactive, and
apart from the video.
The video. Well, you see, we're gonna get onto that. We're gonna get onto that. He's a bit active. He likes to go and pubs and beat up an old men. So what do you think of that?
I think that's just crazy. I think I was a big Conor fan. I don't think you could hate on him. He knocked 13 seconds before Jorge destroyed Ben and ran a truck through his head. That was the quickest knockout of UFC history. So he was the GOAT. He was the first one to go from division to another division, and he used to predict the rounds. He said he was going to move to a different division and dominate, which he did. You know, the only thing I find with Conor is that I find the money's got to him. But I find how much money he earned from that Floyd fight, I think it'd be very hard for it not to get to anyone's head, to be honest with you. You think this is a guy that was on, what was he on, what do they call benefits in America?
I forgot what they call it.
Yeah, but he was on, he was on benefits. So for a guy that's making nothing, getting supported by the government, to earning how much from that Floyd fight, you know?
Crazy.
I can't, a part of me can't see him ever coming into the cage again.
Yeah.
I think it's all just buzz to keep his name afloat. Because he's earned too much.
Yeah, the thing is, the fact that he seems so inactive and that, obviously he trains in that, but for me, it seems like there's no passion to get back in the ring. It's all gone now. I think the money's taken over, like he said. So for me, I don't know, he looks like if we'll see him in the combat sport, is maybe boxing, if a fighter comes out and says they want to see him fight for big money. Maybe with Mayweather again, rematch, I don't know, but
I can't
that's the only way it must be happening.
It'd be a hard sell.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see him coming out and fighting ever again. Like he's making a lot of money through other things like his drinks, and he's got other deals here and there. So yeah, I think we won't be seeing him anytime soon.
But to be honest, UFC is such a brutal sport.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it for the whole of your life?
Yeah, it's
you know,
true.
when you look at some of
later on in life, it does affect you. It does affect you. But one more thing before we go on a break, I want to talk about a fight what might be happening soon as well. It's Cyborg v Nunes, #2.
God. But then I've heard Cyborg's left the UFC now, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Her and the whole Dana White situation.
I don't believe that.
Oh, God, if her and... Do you know what? Nunes is an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that... Like, Cyborg's a beast, don't get me wrong. I heard stories about Cyborg fighting with her boyfriend, Cyborg, getting in the cage, and them two are fighting like it's an actual match.
Yeah.
So, like, Cyborg is a beast. She's like the female Mike Tyson, I see it. The way that she's beat her opponents up has been crazy. But then, has she only beat them opponents up because they weren't that great?
Yeah.
When she fought someone like... But then saying that she beat also Holly Holmes, isn't she? Who's also a world-class opponent. But I just think Amanda's just on a different level, a completely different level, and her power is just absolutely insane. And her length, her reach that she uses, she's got great striking, absolutely amazing striking.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually made Cyborg look average last fight. So, yeah, we're going to take a break here, and then we're going to come back with football. Thanks for joining me today, Matthew.
That's cool. Thanks for having me.